everyone. Everything doesn't have to save the world. Sometimes we just want to have a little fun. Peeps, you no longer have to hide in your group messages about the juicy articles you come across or those very interesting Facebook posts, because we're here to discuss it all. It's time for a little segment we like to call Freshen Up. I have three very opinionated people joining me today. First up, Kenny Cochran.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
Second, Emily Boyer.
Hey.
And last but not least, JC Heisig.
How's it going?
Thank you guys for being on the panel today, of course.
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Okay, so I saw this post on Facebook and it really touched me. It was the post of a little white girl holding a black baby doll. The mother explained via Facebook post that she told Sophia, the little girl, if she used her potty, she would get to pick out a toy. So they went to Target and the little girl picked out a black Barbie doll. When they went to the cashier, she asked the little girl if she was buying the doll for a friend. The little girl, of course, had no idea what was going on and just looked at the cashier. Then the cashier asked little Sophia, "Are you sure this is the doll you want, honey?" Sophia says, "Yes, please." The cashier says, "But she doesn't look like you." I know, right? And then Sophia responds, "Yes, she does. She's a doctor, like I'm a doctor, and I'm a pretty girl, and she's a pretty girl. See her pretty hair and see her stethoscope?" However you say that, guys. "I want to know if you think the cashier was out of place, or can you see where she was coming from?" Okay, so first up, Emily. What do you think?
The cashier was definitely out of place. I mean, it's, first of all, the whole situation was just like slightly weird to begin with. But even, like, I worked as a cashier before, and I never made a comment on anything anyone was buying, regardless of what it was, you know? So just from that respect, she was out of line. But also when there's that, you know, obvious racial thing there, definitely say nothing.
Yeah. What about you, JC?
I feel the same way. I think it's crazy that the cashier reacted that way. And I think that little girl is miles ahead of a lot of people in this country right now. And it's great that she picked something that looks different than her. You know, not just for her own sake, the family's sake, but for the society's sake as well. There's people around her that are also witnessing this as well. It shouldn't be something that's looked at in malfashion, but rather as a sign of celebration that, hey, maybe we're finally taking a step forward, even at the start of little kids.
Okay, and Kenny, what do you think?
I tend to agree. I think that the cashier was definitely out of line and out of place for the comments that she made. We shouldn't continue to perpetuate the divisions that exist between us, because we've seen the effects and the detriment of that play out in the landscape of life now.
Yeah.
And so when, you know, a child is embracing a new part of culture and a new part of people, a new way of thinking, even at such an early age, we should continue to support that and celebrate that, because that's going to speak to our future.
I mean, I think I agree with all of y'all, because I just feel like, first, it was out of line. Second, you shouldn't just assume that, oh, if someone has a Barbie doll that doesn't look like them, you know, because your pigmentation may be different, that it's not for them. And I really think it speaks to the main thing that kids don't know race. Race is socially constructed. And that's one thing that everyone has to understand. Like, this little girl was like, "What do you mean?" Yes, she does. She's just like me. I'm pretty. She's pretty. I'm a doctor. She did her 15 years of medical school. She was like, "Excuse me?" And I really feel like this little baby, you know, just basically schooled this cashier. And it just speaks to the fact that so many people are so concerned with race and how you look and what makes you the same. And it was a waste of time. So I really agree with y'all. Like, I would have checked her as a mother. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Lots of mothers
I mean,
have.
to play devil's advocate for just a second, though, the cashier, like, could have maybe been coming from a good place with that, right? I mean, I don't think that she meant it to be as malicious as it seems.
And I agree. So I think that she's saying, "Oh, you should, I guess wouldn't you want something that looks like you? And for some people, they would. However, once you realize that, oh, maybe this is just a toy and that you're talking to like a 6-year-old,
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
you should just back up because this isn't your child.
Well,
Totally.
you know what this reminds me of? There's a doll experiment actually that was done,
Oh,
throughout
yes.
history,
The
right?
infamous doll experiment.
Right, and basically the experiment, for the, I think you guys know, but they basically asked, white girls and black girls to associate
Oh,
different
yeah.
different traits and attributes with these
Which one
dolls.
is the bad doll?
Right, which one is a bad doll and which one is a good
I think I've
doll?
heard of
And that typically, like, the white doll was the quote unquote good doll and the black doll was the dirty doll and bad doll. And even the black young girls were saying, yeah, the black doll is dirty, the black doll is bad. And that's an
Yeah.
instance where conditioning has played a role in certain prejudices. And I think in this example, this girl is really free of that. Like, this is a young lady who's free of that type of conditioning. And so she doesn't see in terms of color in that way. And, that's going to inform some of her
That's
decisions.
precious.
Yeah, that's precious, not
That's
prejudice.
really precious because
Yeah.
race just shouldn't be that big of a deal. And unfortunately, it is for some people. And it's just sad.